Hello, I'm Jeb. Uh, I'm really happy to be here on this day. I am a client of Vision Forward, and I, uh, I'm a person who is visually impaired, and it's fair to say I'm nearly blind. I fit the definition of legal blindness, have my whole life. I have a condition called uh, retinitis pigmentosa. I have a lot of vision problems. The To describe my vision is typically what people say is I have tunnel vision. So it's like I'm looking through a paper towel roll, or in later years, it's probably better to describe it as a drinking straw. If you can imagine looking through a drinking straw, and that's all that you see. And then, in fact, in recent years, my doctor told me maybe I should describe my vision as looking through a coffee stir straw, one of those little red stirring straws. But anyway, bottom line, my vision is getting worse and worse with time, and Vision Forward has been helping me the whole time. Uh, I, uh, I I live in Shorewood with my beautiful wife Emily Blazer, and we have two children. Charlotte is age 8, and Thomas is age 5. We're all struggling with my vision loss, but Vision Forward is helping us through it. Professionally, I am a teacher at UW-Milwaukee. I teach mathematics at all the different levels. I supervise graduate students, and I'm still able to do my job because of the technology that tech help that Vision Forward has provided. Corey Ballard's my teacher. He has taught me to use screen readers so I can proceed. I can convert visual information into auditory information, so I can effectively listen to my computer. On the low-tech side, one of the things Vision Forward has helped me with is they convinced me to make that leap to using a white cane several years ago when I needed to, when my eyesight had degraded, and that's what I needed to do. And it changed my life. I went from somebody that people thought was a little bit weird because he didn't seem to fit in with his surroundings, or something seemed wrong with him, but nobody could really put their finger on it until one day they saw me using a white cane, and then it was obvious he's just struggling with some vision loss. So that has just changed my quality of life for my family and for my job, and I really have Vision Forward to thank. So happy to be here, and thank you very much.
And Jeb, thanks so much for sharing your personal story today. I know how difficult that can be at times. I think we share a lot of similarities with our vision loss. I lost my vision pretty early in life, but mine was a little more sudden than yours. It sounds like yours has been kind of a longer journey. So I'd love to know, Jeb, how has your vision loss journey, how has that affected both your personal and professional life?
Yes, as you point out, the hardest thing for me is the constant readapting. I'm aware that some people lose their sight instantaneously. Maybe after a surgery, they go from completely seeing until not being able to see at all. For me, every time I adapt, I am functioning, but then I lose a little more vision. And it's just been one thing after another my whole life. So that is a hard part of my story.
I would assume that's where some of that training and those devices that you find can make such a big difference to help with every time you need to readapt. Having that support to figure out the best way to readapt can really make a big difference.
Yes, exactly, Corey. And thank you for being my teacher. The screen reader is very helpful. That being able to just listen to an email has just changed my life rather than having to try to read it visually.
Sure, sure. I'd love to know, if there was one thing that you could let sighted individuals know about your vision loss journey or your experience, what would be that one thing that you'd want them to know?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, one thing that would be, if it was just one thing, I would say that uh, knowing who I'm talking to is such a difficult thing for me. So when somebody says hello to me in the student union, maybe a student that I've had in a class, they say, "Hi, Jeb," and I say, "Hey, how you doing? Great to see you," and walking past them with my white cane. But it's so much nicer that, for example, if the chair of our department will say, "Hi, Jeb, it's Suzanne," and I'll say, "Oh, hi, Suzanne," and great to see you. I get to know who I'm talking to then, and that kind of a hello is so much better.
You make such a great point, Jeb. Our social worker here at Vision Forward, Erica Weiss, has coined or uses a really great phrase, the empty hello. And I'll be the first to admit that I fall victim to this empty hello. And when someone says hi to you and you don't know who they are, you're like, "Hi, buddy. Hey, Chief, how are you?" And it's so obvious that you don't know who they are. And really what the unfortunate thing is, like you said, is you don't get to have that connection that that you're missing out on, all because you just don't know who that person is. And it's such a good tip to pass on to individuals who are sighted, that simple "Hi, I'm so and so" can make that experience it can mean so much more. From a technology standpoint, so the saying hello can be so meaningful. From a technology standpoint, Jeb, I'd love to know, as somebody, a mathematics professor and the head of your graduate program, first of all, I can't imagine what that's even like, as somebody who struggles with basic math. But I'd love to know, how has technology allowed you to continue doing your job?
Oh, well, as time moves forward and I'm losing eyesight, I'm learning more about what technology has to offer. And the screen reader that I use on my computer will actually read even formulas. It will read to me. And if I pull up an email from a student who needs an answer right away, I can hit a button and it reads that email very quickly. All of those things are helping me. I I can go on for a long time about how much technology has improved my life.
Sure. And that's great, because technology with the right solutions and the right training can be so empowering, both personally and professionally. And, we spoke a lot about technology today, and that's a big reason because you and I do a lot of technology training, but Vision Forward does a lot more than just technology. So I'm curious, if you could maybe, what's one other service that you received here at Vision Forward that really had a big impact on you, either if it was personally at home or at work?
Orientation and mobility with the white cane is really important. Just having that white cane to tell people, it's almost like a flag that says, I'm a person who cannot see. And as I mentioned before, when I moved from being somebody who's basically faking having vision and looking pretty weird to using a white cane, there was this huge quality of life change. And Steve here at Vision Forward is working with me still on orientation and mobility, teaching me basic Braille, all of those things. So helpful.
You make a really good point, Jeb, about that orientation and mobility and how that cane can really improve your quality of life. But with that can come some anxiety and a lot of a lot of transition too, getting used to that, using that cane. I can remember myself personally having to put that cane in my hand and use it out in public. And once I finally got over that hump and started doing it, you're absolutely 100% right. That quality of life is just such an improvement
Yes.
using that cane. So I'm glad you said that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jeb, I
Yeah.
really appreciate you spending some time with us this afternoon, sharing your personal journey with us, letting me ask you for some questions, asking some questions today. So I really appreciate it. Don't forget, you've got some home practice that's due for me next week.
Yeah, you're
So
working on it.
thanks again, Jeb. I appreciate it. I want to pass it over to Susan